Morning. Sorry. Morning. Morning, G. Morning. Yes, so what was the last point yesterday? Work and economic life, right? Good morning. I'm planning to complete paper 1 and paper 2 together, right? So we have completed work and economic life stratification. So related topic we will complete in paper 2. है ना? Please see the syllabus. Syllabus देखो आप. Syllabus paper 2. In paper 2, we have topics related to social stratification, that is caste and social classes in India, right? Caste and social classes in India. And now you are not unaware of the caste because we have already studied perspectives on caste. GS Ghurye perspective we completed, yes, na? And MN Srinivas perspective also. Caste is building block of Indian society, as well as his concept of dominant caste and change within caste through process of Sanskritization. Yes, na? Yes. So, these topics we have completed. So, please see the syllabus. Perspective on a study of caste system. I mean, point of views of some sociologists on caste system. GS Ghurye we have already done. MN Srinivas we have already done. We know something, right? Short question आएगा. Concise करके लिखना है whatever we have discussed. Then comes Louis Dumont and Andre Bete. Louis Dumont perspective on caste. Matlab you have to understand his point of view on caste without much contradicting. Isn't it? Syllabus का directive है कि आप उसको समझ लें what his perspective is on caste system. Right? So जैसा MN श्रीनिवास ने कहा कि caste is the building block. Dumont, right? Louis Dumont, MN Srinivas, according to MN Srinivas, caste is building block of Indian society. मतलब Indian society का core structure मानता है. Similarly, Louis Dumont argued that Indian society is homo hierarchicus society. He referred Indian society as homo hierarchicus society. Homo hierarchicus society. Homo hierarchicus society बोले तो home of hierarchies. Home of hierarchies. Right? Home of hierarchies. And these hierarchies are organized in caste system. These hierarchies are organized in caste system. Every aspect of social life in Indian society, be that social aspect, be that economic aspect, be that political aspect, cultural aspect, every aspect of social life in Indian society is organized in hierarchies. सोशल में तो आपको इजीली समझ में आ जाता है कि यस वर्ना सिस्टम कास्ट सिस्टम हायरार्कीज but economic too. Occupations have also been ranked. Yes or no? Occupations have also been ranked into pure occupation and polluted occupations. Yes or no? There is ranking and gradation. Right? Yes, na? Like priestly occupation, religious, then governing occupations, then managerial maintenance occupation, and then menial. Yes or no? उसका भी रैंकिंग है ना इकोनॉमिक स्फीयर में राइट एवरी स्फीयर ऑफ सोशल लाइफ कल्चर डोंट यू थिंक कि देयर इज ग्रेडेशन ऑफ कल्चर व्हाट वी हैव इज आवर कल्चर आवर फूड हैबिट ड्रेस कोड लाइफ स्टाइल दिस ऑल पार्ट ऑफ कल्चर इजंट इट मैरिज rites and rituals death rites and rituals all part of culture don't you think कि cultural aspect also very much graded in pure and polluted. Yes, na? Vegetarian food considered as pure, non-vegetarian polluted. Yes, na? Yes, vegetarian, non-vegetarian. Dress also, right? Yes ना? भाई ड्रेस का भी ग्रेडेशन है ना, कलर ऑफ द ड्रेस, इजंट इट? डेथ राइट्स में क्या हम बिल्कुल रेड येलो? हाँ, नहीं. एंड बर्थ राइट्स एंड रिचुअल्स, मैरिज राइट्स एंड रिचुअल्स में क्या अभी पुट ऑन ब्लैक? नहीं. There is gradation. I mean, definition, right? Culture has been well defined, isn't it? As per the rites and rituals, isn't it? As per the sacred notion of the rituals, notion of sacredness of the rituals. Yes, na? So this is, I mean, every aspect of social life, right, reflects some ideology of hierarchy, rank ordering or gradation. उसने कहा कि इंडियन सोसाइटी इज होमो हायरार्किकल सोसाइटी एंड यूरोपियन सोसाइटी इज होमो इक्वलस सोसाइटी, दैट इज होम ऑफ द इक्वल्स, एंड इंडियन सोसाइटी इज होम ऑफ द hierarchies, and these hierarchies has nothing to do with economy, class. These hierarchies has nothing to do with politics, power, right, party, etc. These hierarchies are based on notions of purity and pollution. Notions of purity and pollution, right? Notions of purity and pollution, right? All other hierarchies operate within these hierarchies, right? Called caste. इसी hierarchy के अंदर बाकी hierarchies operate करता है. Isn't it? Right? So Indian society he studied on the basis of segregation, isn't it? Hierarchical, segregation, right? Based on notions of purity and pollution. He said कि there is binary opposition. Indian culture में क्या है? Religion and culture में there is binary opposition between pure and polluted, pure and impure. Opposition है. Every aspect of social life, reflects separation, segregation, separation, right? Every aspect of social life. That is still, relevant in some respect. It will, like practice of endogamy. Why there is practice of endogamy? What is the reason behind it? Maintaining the purity of the group, isn't it? Caste, isn't it? Getting your point. Marriage outside the caste considered as polluted. Yes, na? Marriage outside caste considered as polluted. And so there are provisions to maintain practice of endogamy, right? Despite all changes in society, still we don't see the practice of, marriage of a Brahman and Dalit. Do we see this? Rarely, right? Otherwise, this is not established practice in our society. Yes or no? Indian society में नहीं है. क्यों? Because of notion of purity and pollution still continues, still part of, this hierarchical order. इस order का still part है ना? Right? कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में भी जो बैकवर्डनेस का डेफिनेशन है, क्या वो इकोनॉमिक बेसिस पे है इंडिया में? सो दैट notion also very much, that ideology also very much influenced by Louis Dumont perspective. Louis Dumont perspective की backwardness, inequality, exclusion is social and cultural. Social and cultural in Indian society. Yes ना? कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पढ़ा आपने तो उसमें क्या इकोनॉमिक भी बेसिस है. पॉजिटिव डिस्क्रिमिनेशन का बेसिस क्या है इंडिया में? अब आ गया ईडब्ल्यूएस के लिए, जो कि अभी भी मैटर सब जुडिस है, इजंट इट? Otherwise, policymakers also considered social cultural backwardness. Because of notions of purity and pollution, particular caste groups were excluded from mainstream participation for centuries, for hundreds of years, right? Remain excluded because of notion of purity and pollution. Permanent disabilities suffered by particular caste because of notion of purity and pollution. Temporal disabilities suffered by women because of notion of purity and pollution. Isn't it? Right, disabilities, right? और उसी disabilities को able करने के लिए, to enable, isn't it? Disabled को enable करने के लिए provision of positive discrimination, temporal provision of positive discrimination, isn't it? Affirmative action that is called, isn't it? Right? सो दिस इज, सो ये है पर्सपेक्टिव लुइस डिमोंट का। क्रक्स क्या है, क्रक्स आप समझ गए, बाकी तो स्टेटमेंट्स अभी देखेंगे उनका, डिफरेंट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यूज, है ना। कि इंडियन सोसाइटी, जैसे एम एन श्रीनिवास ने कहा कि कास्ट इज द बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक ऑफ इंडियन सोसाइटी, ये कहते हैं कि इंडियन सोसाइटी इज होमो हायरार्किकल सोसाइटी एंड दिस हायरार्की इज ऑर्गेनाइज्ड इन कास्ट सिस्टम। इस हायरार्की का ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कहाँ देखते हैं अपन, कास्ट सिस्टम में देखते, isn't it, right? Every aspect of social life is very much, shaped by, influenced by, determined by hierarchies, social, economic, political, isn't it? Occupations are based on caste, yes or no? Yes na? As I said कि occupation का भी segregation है, religious occupation, priestly occupation, हाँ, time to time changes हुआ है इसमें, yes or no? Time to time with reformers, right? Advocacies for reforms, Buddhism, Jainism, Bhakti movement, Sufi movement, isn't it? लेकिन क्या ये खत्म हुआ? इतने, राइट, पूरा साउथ ईस्ट एशिया फॉलोइंग बुद्धिस्ट paths, right? South East Asia, they were all ethnic groups, conflicting groups, fighting with each other, है ना। आज भी कभी कभी देखते हैं रोहिंग्याज एंड बुद्धिस्ट का, isn't it? In सभी regions में, these were all ethnic societies, conflicting societies, and their peace established, following path of Buddha, isn't it? है ना। जापान देखा कितना अग्रेसिव था जापान वर्ल्ड वॉर में, राइट, है ना। पीस पार्टी एंड नॉन पीस पार्टी, राइट, पीस पार्टी फॉलोड द पाथ ऑफ बुद्धा, बट देयर वेर एलिमेंट्स रक्षवंश के, राइट। तो दिस इज, बट इन इंडियन सोसाइटी people adopted Buddhism, but caste continues. Jainism, caste continues. Caste-like segregation continues in Islam too, isn't it? Getting a point? तो ये caste का ऐसा strong hierarchy है, जो मैं बोलता हूँ जाति कभी नहीं जाती, right? Religion चली जाती, right? है ना? But जाति, yes, that is, because this is homo hierarchicus society. ये society homo hierarchicus है, isn't it? Getting your point? Every aspect of society, operates within hierarchies. Every aspect of society operates within hierarchy. That is, this hierarchy is basically the aspect of Indian culture according to Louis Dumont. Hierarchy is aspect of Indian culture according to Louis Dumont, isn't it? है ना? A very culture का part है hierarchy. Every aspect of socio-cultural traditions, characterized by some gradation, right? Pure and polluted. Pure and polluted. है ना? Yes or no? Right? Food habits, lifestyle, dress code, practices, religious practices, marital practices, right? Occupations, every aspect, right? Yes. So इस पे थोड़ा स्क्रिप्ट करते हैं. Got this point? जो क्रक्स उनका है ना? जो core idea है, that you understood, right? European society is homo equalus, home of equals, class society, and Indian society is homo hierarchicus, a caste society, right? है ना? Please note. Louis Dumont perspective on caste. Louis Dumont perspective on caste is considered as, Louis Dumont perspective on caste is considered as, Louis Dumont perspective on caste is considered as Indological, culturological, culturological perspective, considered as Indological, culturological perspective. Right. In his seminal work, SEMINL, seminal work, Homo Hierarchicus, he argued that Indian society is homo hierarchicus society Indian society is homo hierarchicus society, under bracket, home of the hierarchies, home of the hierarchies, homo hierarchicus, home of the hierarchies, right? Homo hierarchicus, right? Full stop. He, he presented attributional perspective. He presented attributional perspective on caste by describing attributions or features of caste, by describing attribution or features of caste influenced by Bogle's writings. Bogle एक अदर सोशोलॉजिस्ट हैं. Bogle's writings, BOUGLE apostrophe S, Bogle's इधर है, Bogle's writings on caste based division of labor in Indian society. Caste based division of labor in Indian society. Right. Next, based division of labor in Indian society. This is one view. Next point or next paragraph. Dumont argued that, Dumont के सब argument ही हैं, view points हैं, है ना? Dumont argued that Indian society is characterized by, no, पहले Indian society not characterized, Indian society, comma, social relations. Indian society, comma, social relations, social interactions, etc. are all determined by caste. Right? Full stop. Not only social relation, occupational segregations, cultural practices, segregation, cultural practices, right? Political organizations, residential segregations, residential segregation, right, etc. all influenced, all based on caste. Full stop. Now, third, caste is characterized by ideology. Caste system or caste is characterized by ideology of purity and pollution, or better say opposition between purity and pollution. Characterized by opposition between purity and pollution. Right? The Brahmins are the pure caste. Brahmins are considered as pure caste group. Brahmins are considered as pure caste group, and position of all caste in the hierarchy Brahmins are considered as pure caste group, and position of all other castes in the hierarchy is relative to the Brahmins. Position of all caste groups in the hierarchy is relative to the Brahmins, right? All other castes, next sentence, all other castes in Indian society considered Brahmins as a reference point for understanding and following culture, reference point for understanding and following the culture, occupation, practice of religion, the culture, occupation, practice of religion, meanings and orientations for behavior, etc. राइट ये मानते हैं कि इस हायरार्की में ब्राह्मण्स आर सुपीरियर. कुछ याद आ रहा है इसके अगेंस्ट को ये स्टेटमेंट जीएस घुरे का? जीएस घुरे का स्टेटमेंट, जीएस घुरे भी स्टडीड ना? जीएस घुरे का एक स्टेटमेंट देखना, उधर रिवाइज करना, तो इसी का अपोजिट वो बोलते कि नहीं ऐसा नहीं है, मतलब डिफरेंट फ्रॉम लुई डुमोंट कि ब्राह्मण्स were not superior by birth, है ना? Aryans never introduced themselves as Brahmins and they were never superior by birth, right? He condemned, he refuted the notion of Brahmanic superiority in caste. G.S. Ghurye. What he said, कि Brahmins are respected and considered as superior because of their occupation, and that occupation is education, educating others into the virtues, values and ideas of caste. ऐसा उन्होंने बोला है ना जीएस घुरिये साहब ने. इनके पर्सपेक्टिव में क्या है कि ब्राह्मण्स इन दिस हायरार्की are the superior and pure caste, isn't it? And rest of the caste groups, right, understand their social position, right, accept their social position in relation to Brahmins. Brahmins are reference point, isn't it? Brahmins are a reference point, right, for action, meaning orientation for rest of the caste groups. मतलब ये ब्राह्मणिक superiority को establish करते हैं, है ना? जीएस घुरिये did not accept ब्राह्मणिक superiority. उन्होंने कहा कि ब्राह्मण्स were not ascribed as superior, rather they gained respectability and superiority through their occupation. Isn't it? Yes, na? उन्होंने ये भी कहा कि Brahmins never introduced themselves as superior. Aryans never introduced themselves as Brahmins and superior than others. Brahmins were essentially ascetics, है ना? Sadhus wandering from one place to another place. Isn't it? Right. Yes. Okay. जीएस घुरिये का कभी सिलेक्शन के बाद पढ़ना, यू विल फाइंड हिम, यू नो, आई मीन उनका जो मैथोलॉजिकल इंटरेस्टिंग है ना? क्रिटिसिज्म तो है ही, क्रिटिसिज्म है बिकॉज ही टॉक्स ओनली ऑफ वन रिलीजन, इजंट इट? लेकिन जो मैथोलॉजिकल एविडेंसेस ही प्रेजेंट है, नो, लाइक जैसे ब्राह्मण्स, तो वो कहते हैं कि भाई रावण ऑल्सो बिलोंग टू डैट कुल, यस ना? सो रक्ष, जिसको बोलते हैं रक्ष वंश, इजंट इट? रक्ष वंश. तो जो ब्राह्मण का ऑर्डर है, तो एक ऑर्डर है रक्ष, इजंट इट? रक्ष बोले तो राक्षस, रक्ष, राइट? एंड रक्ष ऑल्सो स्प्रेड एट पैन इंडिया लेवल, राइट, है ना? पंचवटी, नासिक, वहां भी रक्ष, इजंट इट? राइट? डिफरेंट रीजन्स ऑफ इंडिया में आप रामायण में देखते हैं कि जब वशिष्ठ मुनि आए और राम को ले गए, तो राम वॉन्डरिंग इन कोर्स ऑफ डैट बहुत सारे राक्षस को मारा उन्होंने. तो दे वर बेसिकली raksh वंश के, and they were trying to occupy, isn't it, the mainland, right? Getting your point, defeating all sadhus, killing all sadhus, saints, isn't it, right? रामायण में है ना, वशिष्ठ मुनि का पढ़ेंगे तो, right? So like Brahmins, either as saint or as raksh, were had pan India spread, pan India spread, different parts of इंडिया में ऐसा रेफरेंसेस मिलता है, राइट, रामायण के अंदर, जो कि रेफर करते हैं जीएस घोरिए, राइट. खैर हमें उतना डिटेल नहीं पढ़ना इधर, केवल एक दो रेफरेंस लेना होता है ट्राइब कास्ट कॉन्टिन्यूम में, राइट. यस, ओके. व्हाट वाज द पॉइंट, लास्ट पॉइंट? ओरिएंटेशन फॉर एक्शन, राइट. नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ, next point of view, third point of view, right, and fourth point of view. Yes, according to Dumont, Brahmins has cultural superior position and therefore they determined the values and norms. They determined the values and norms for the society. Norms for the society, right? These values and norms comma, institutional order of Indian society involves the notion of, or ideology of, involves the ideology of purity and pollution, involves the ideology of purity and pollution, right? Yes, involve the ideology. कौन डिटरमाइन करते? ब्राह्मण, है ना. ब्राह्मण कैसे डिटरमाइन करते? रीडिंग टू वेदाज, isn't it? मैथोलॉजीज, उपनिषद्स, जो भी शास्त्राज, they used to read, they used to understand, and they used to propagate, isn't it? They used to determine the values and norms, and these values and norms, the institutional order was largely based on what? The ideology of purity and pollution. और इसको ये क्या मानते कि इसमें प्रॉब्लम कहाँ है? लुई ड्यूमोंट के अकॉर्डिंग कि बेसिकली these values and ideas, right, propagated by Brahmins played integrative role, right? Indian society had been integrated into one society for centuries based on those values and norms. Yes or no? ये भी तो फैक्ट ही है ना. अरे ये भी फैक्ट है या नहीं है, राइट? तो दैट इज व्हाट हाईलाइटेड बाय लुई ड्यूमोंट कि in this hierarchy which is based on purity and pollution, the society has been integrated. Society has been integrated. So in this integration of Indian society for centuries, क्या कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन था पास्ट में? आज सोसाइटी में कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है इंटीग्रेट करने के लिए, यस और नो? आज सोसाइटी में लीगल सिस्टम है इंटीग्रेट करने के लिए, यस और नो? फॉर मेंटेनेंस ऑफ ऑर्डर, इंटीग्रेशन, स्टेबिलिटी इन सोसाइटी, वी हैव कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, वी हैव लीगल सिस्टम, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, जुडिशियरी. You can think of how this order integration was maintained 100 years back, 200 years back, 500 years back, in ancient times. कैसे ये order maintain होता? कैसे maintain होता था? So that what he said, कि this order was maintained in the hierarchies, right, based on the values and ideas, institutional order, and those hierarchies, this hierarchy, institutional order, values and norms involve the notion of purity and pollution, separation, segregation, isn't it? And established order in Indian society. Established order in Indian society. Yes or no? Just think over कि 1000 years back कैसे order होता था establish? क्या force of sword? नहीं ना. War battles तो आते चले जाते. Rules were established and abolished. Monarchies were established and abolished. Yes or no? But social order maintained or not? Yes ना. Society continued or not? Right? तो उसी point को ये explain करते कि society maintained and this notion of purity and pollution basically, right, played important role in maintaining order in the society. तो उसको एक integration, I mean society was integrated. तो ये highlight करते, positives highlight करते, isn't it? Getting your point? Like Brahmins propagating the ideas and values contributed in maintaining order and stability in Indian society. राइट और भाई आज आप पीएम के अथॉरिटी को मानते हैं यस और नो यस ना आज अपन अथॉरिटी को मानते कि नहीं ब्यूरोक्रेट्स की अथॉरिटी को भाई पास्ट में क्या था दीज आइडियाज दीज वैल्यूज डिसिप्लिन्ड पीपल राइट एस्टेब्लिश्ड ऑर्डर इन सोसाइटी तो सोशियोलॉजिस्ट ऐसे देखेगा ऐसे रिफ्यूट नहीं करेगा है ना रिजेक्ट नहीं करेगा राइट दिस इज द पॉजिटिव यस और नो आज इतना कुछ रूल रेगुलेशन होते हुए भी प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है या नहीं प्रॉब्लम होता है ना राइट सो इन सोसाइटी ऑफ द पास्ट ठीक है कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स हुआ राइट सम प्रॉब्लम्स वेर आल्सो देयर राइट अगर आप कहते हैं कि पहले एक्सप्लॉयटेशन हुआ राइट राइट एक्सक्लूजन हुआ तो क्या आज इंक्लूजन है क्या ब्लैक कम्युनिटी आर फुली इंक्लूडेड इन अमेरिकन सोसाइटी या all communities, all groups are fully included in Indian society? Yes or no? Last person. So that is the point. You have to accept, you have to understand कि अगर आज प्रॉब्लम है कल भी प्रॉब्लम था some people were excluded in this order but this order maintained but this institutional framework characterized by notions of purity and pollution hierarchy maintained order and stability in society integrated different group of people into society. Yes na? Yes na? राइट तो इस तरीके से ली ड्यूमोंट भी एक्सेप्ट हो जाएगा नहीं तो आप एविजू हो जाएंगे कैसा बोल रहा है ये अनटचेबिलिटी को सेपरेशन को जस्टिफाई कर रहा है नहीं नहीं जस्टिफाई नहीं कर रहा है ही जस्ट हाईलाइटिंग यू नो सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ राइट कास्ट हायरार्कीज राइट एज इंटीग्रेटिव फैक्टर कास्ट हायरार्कीज एज इंटीग्रेटिव factor. He is highlighting that these hierarchies involve notions of purity and pollution and that contributed in maintaining social order. Right? That disciplined people कि ये काम करना है ये नहीं करना है something is pure something polluting isn't it getting your point right these notions were propounded by Brahmins है ना for different hierarchies Brahmins used to define the rules and norms isn't it rule को define करते values को define करते isn't it and provided you know meanings and orientation for action to different sections of Indian population कि किसको कैसा behave करना है yes ना आज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बताता है हमें आज रूल्स एंड लॉज बताता है कल को ब्राह्मण बताते थे जब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन नहीं था yes or no yes ना so this is right this is perspective of Louis Dumont right yes मतलब ये सब इतना मुझे ये अप्लाइड बात करना पड़ता है ताकि आप इसको रिफ्यूट नहीं करें कि कैसा बकवास कर रहा है नहीं बकवास नहीं कर रहा है he is telling us something meaningful right please think in respect to societies 1000 years back isn't it Indian society आज से 1000 years back right yes जब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन नहीं था रूल्स नहीं थे right yes okay next point क्या लिखा आपने लास्ट क्या है आपका purity and yeah pollution yes according to Dumont the caste not only determined social relation Sorry, not determine caste. The notions of purity and pollution. Please cut this sentence. According to Dumont, the notions of purity and pollution, or the ideology of purity and pollution, is central to not only social organization, rather economic organization and occupational relations too. Economic organization and occupational relation too. Economic organization and occupational relation too. Occupations were, please note, occupations were largely segregated into first priestly religious occupation, segregated into priestly religious occupations. Second, governing administrative occupations. Third, managerial governing administrative occupations. Third, managerial business occupations. Fourth, manual manual work, right? Such segregation involved notions of purity and pollution, involved notion of purity and pollution, right? Notions of purity and pollution. Next paragraph. The Indian population were integrated into caste system. Different sections of the population, different sections of Indian population, different sections of Indian population were related to each other, maintaining social distance, maintaining social distance from each other, maintaining social distance from each other based on notions of purity and pollution. However, maintaining, sorry, क्या लिखा लास्ट सेंटेंस आपने? Based on purity and pollution. However, however, despite separations, despite separation and differentiations, despite separation and differentiation, society at large was integrated. Society at large was integrated into one system. Integrated into one system in which different groups, or different sections of population maintained their social and occupational position in the hierarchical, maintained their social and occupational position, maintain their social and occupational position in hierarchical social system of caste. Hierarchical social system of caste. Right? Yes. Got this? एक्सेप्ट कर लेंगे इसको, आप रिजेक्ट नहीं करेंगे, इतना एग्जाम्पल आपको दे दिया है ना. यस. नाउ व्हाट ही डज कंपैरिजन बिटवीन इंडियन एंड आई मीन होमो हायरार्किकस एंड होमो इक्वेलस, कंपेयर भी करते हैं, मतलब कास्ट को क्लास सोसाइटी से, होमो इक्वेलस सोसाइटी से, है ना. तो नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ में अपन थोड़ा कंपैरिजन बात कर लेते. Louis Dumont, next point. Louis Dumont considered caste system as unique system to Indian society. ये तो सही भी है, ये इस मिट्टी का जो है, राइट, यूनिक फीचर है. यस ना. कई बार फ्रेंडशिप, रिलेशनशिप सब कास्ट पे आके एंड हो जाता ना, है ना. यस यस राइट, बिकॉज दिस इज यूनिक टू इंडिया. वी कैन नॉट राइट. ऐसा डेयरिंग करने के लिए स्टेट छोड़ के दूसरे स्टेट जाना पड़ता, जैसा मुझे जाना हुआ, राइट. यस यस. क्या लिखा आपने? यूनिक फीचर और सिस्टम ऑफ इंडियन सोसाइटी. कास्ट एज हायरार्किकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन is different from Western class system और क्लास सोसाइटी को इन्वर्टेड कॉमा में लिख लेना, वेस्टर्न क्लास सोसाइटी. राइट. द डिफरेंस बिटवीन इंडियन सोसाइटी एंड वेस्टर्न सोसाइटी, difference between Indian society and Western society is basically the opposition of tradition and modern. हमें बोलता है कि ट्रेडिशनल है और वेस्टर्न जो है मॉडर्न है. इज ऑपोजिशन ऑफ ट्रेडिशन एंड मॉडर्न. इंडियन सोसाइटी इज ट्रेडिशनल सोसाइटी. Indian society is traditional society characterized by hierarchies based on purity and pollution. Characterized by hierarchies based on purity and pollution. Yeah, Indian society is traditional society characterized by hierarchies based on purity and pollution, comma, European society is modern society characterized by equality and individual liberties. Characterized by equality and individual liberties. Right? Yes. Now you can think of Louis Dumont, European sociologist, who is so popular in India. He must be popular in Europe also. Yes, na? I mean, we are studying Louis Dumont, syllabus में specific mention is there. So, the picture of Indian society presented by Louis Dumont in Europe, that attracted many Europeans to see Indian society. और ये जो लोग आते वेस्टर्न, राजस्थान जाते ज़्यादा, है ना, और ये पर्दा, राइट, सिस्टम को फोटो बनाते, फ्रेम बनाते, फोटो लेते, है ना, पूरा एकदम चूड़ा, घूंघट, isn't it? Just influenced by, क्योंकि वो वही देखने आते है ना. उधर लुई डुमोंट ने बोला कि यूरोपियन क्या है, मॉडर्न है, इक्वालिटी इंडिविजुअल लिबर्टी है, एंड यहाँ पे लिबर्टी, राइट, इंडिविजुअल लिबर्टी इज नॉट देयर, है ना इंडिया में, राइट. दिस इज होमो हायरार्किकल सोसाइटी, प्यूरिटी एंड पोल्यूशन, राइट. movement of women outside household in the public sphere considered something as polluted, right. That is not considered something, dignified act, isn't it. So यही पिक्चर जो प्रेजेंट किया, जो इतने यूरोपियंस आते 1970s 80s 90s में, गरीबी देखने इंडिया में, पॉवर्टी देखने इंडिया में, राइट. आई मीन दिस पर्दा सिस्टम, है ना, राइट. और जहां ज्यादा पर्दा सिस्टम वहीं ज्यादा जाते हैं, राइट. So this is, मतलब he presented a picture of Indian society as traditional society, hierarchical society, isn't it? Hierarchically rigid society, right? Right. Next, Indian society, इसमें कंटिन्यू करोगे. Indian society in the framework of caste is oriented towards collectivity. Oriented towards collectivity. In the framework of caste, oriented towards collectivity. मतलब people in Indian society largely oriented towards collectivity. Under bracket, आपको याद है एक फीचर मैंने बोला था ट्रेडिशन का, collectivity orientation or holism. I mean total engulfment of individual into collectivity. Under bracket लिख लो, engulfment, ENGULF, engulfment of individual into collectivity, opposite to individualism, opposite to individualism. Engulfment of individual into collectivity, opposite to individualism, right. मतलब उसने कहा कि यूरोपियन सोसाइटी इज इंडिविजुअलाइज्ड, देयर इंडिविजुअल हैव फ्रीडम एंड लिबर्टी, राइट. इंडियन सोसाइटी कैसा है, विद इन द हायरार्की, द मेंबर्स विद इन द हायरार्की आर फुल्ली ओरिएंटेड टुवर्ड्स द कलेक्टिविटी. एंड कलेक्टिविटी बोले तो कास्ट, इजंट इट, है ना. कलेक्टिविटी में टोटल इनगफमेंट इन कलेक्टिविटी, इजंट इट. मैरिज के लिए कलेक्टिविटी, ऑक्यूपेशन के लिए कलेक्टिविटी, एजुकेशन के लिए कलेक्टिविटी, कल्चर के लिए कलेक्टिविटी, रिलीजन के लिए कलेक्टिविटी, एवरी एस्पेक्ट ऑफ इंडिविजुअल कॉन्स्ट्रेंड बाय, इन्फ्लुएंस्ड बाय कलेक्टिविटी. इंडिविजुअल टोटली एनगफ्ड इन कलेक्टिविटी, है ना. और वहीं पे यूरोप में इक्वालिटी and individualism, equality, liberty, individual liberty, individualism, isn't it. Compare किया, है ना, कि that is homo equalus and this is homo hierarchicus. Here individual have no liberty, no freedom, individual is part of collectivity, right. और जैसा collectivity कहता वैसा individual act, think and act, yes ना. तो कुछ extent तक तो है भी, जैसे patriarchy, women, right, collectivity, patriarchal जो collectivity है उसमें engulfment, isn't it. Caste groups following, caste values, norms, isn't it. Individuals following caste values and norms, isn't it. Not in every aspect, but in some aspect still continues or not. पहले ऑक्यूपेशन में भी था, अब ऑक्यूपेशन मेरिटोक्रेटिक सोसाइटी हो गए, लेकिन कल्चर में स्टिल इट इज देयर, मैरिज में स्टिल इट इज देयर, यस और नो, यस ना. सो दिस इज नेक्स्ट, कास्ट सिस्टम. हाँ, नेक्स्ट, सॉरी, Indian society is characterized by ascription of status. Underline कर लेना, characterized by ascription, basically ascription of status, full stop. Individual's status and position is ascribed by birth in particular caste, under bracket hierarchy, individual status, right, or position ascribed by births in particular caste under bracket hierarchy. This is different from European phenomena of class and power. This is different from European phenomena of class and power, right? है ना? एक और सेंटेंस in Indian society इसी में continue in this in Indian society economic position or occupation and power capacity to exercise power and capacity to exercise power is not separate from caste, is not separate from caste, है ना? लेकिन यूरोपियन सोसाइटी में सेपरेशन, isn't it? है ना? जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल आप बोलेंगे कैसे, तो फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन इंडियन सोसाइटी ब्राह्मण्स एक्सरसाइज सुपीरियर पावर देन किंग, यस और नो? In traditional Indian society, Brahmins exercise superior power than king. King has to act as per guidelines, suggestions, opinions of the Brahmins, isn't it? Right? Getting your point? ऐसे power तो king को exercise करना चाहिए, yes ना? लेकिन नहीं, caste में when it comes to exercise of power, तो caste and caste में Brahmins, right, had authority, traditional authority to exercise power, isn't it? तो example भी लिख लेना. In traditional Indian society लिख लो. In traditional Indian society, Brahmins were superior than king. Brahmins were superior than king because of their ascribed status of superiority. Ascribed status of superiority. Brahmins are considered pure by birth. Brahmins considered pure by birth. Ascribed status of superiority, right? They are considered pure by birth, right? And therefore, they exercised superior power. They exercised superior power. Therefore, they exercise superior power. Yes. Next paragraph. The notion of purity and pollution, is reflected in every aspect of Indian society. Be that social, notion of purity and pollution is reflected. अब थोड़ा contemporary बात कर लेते हैं. Reflected in every aspect of Indian society. Be that social, political, cultural, educational, patterns of marriage, civil and social relations, etc. Civil and social relation, etc. इसी में कंटिन्यू करोगे. According to Dumont, there are three central elements to analyze the hierarchical caste system. Element to analyze the hierarchical caste system. Central element to yes, analyze the hierarchical caste system. First, separation on the basis of separation on the basis of caste in matters of marriage, separation on the basis of caste in matters of marriage, social contact in matters of marriage, comma, social contact, exchange of food, exchange of food, interaction, interaction, occupation, etc. मतलब हर मामलों में क्या separation, separation, right? Second, cultural segregation, cultural segregation, right? Cultural segregation. Third, gradation of status, gradation of status, dash, some caste considered as superior, some other caste groups considered as inferior. है ना? अब इसमें थोड़ा रिलीजन का कंपोनेंट लेकर वो आ जाते हैं कास्ट के साथ रिलीजन. वो कहते हैं क्या? नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ. According to Dumont, according to Dumont, the binary opposition, binary, B-I-N-A-R-Y, binary opposition of purity and pollution, binary opposition of purity and pollution, comma, binary opposition of purity and pollution, comma, separation or segregations, separation or segregation among the caste groups are all legitimized by Hindu religion, all legitimized by Hindu religion, comma, religious scriptures, right? Religious scriptural guidelines to deal with day to day life. भाई सभी रिलीजन में कुछ गाइडलाइन है ना, क्रिश्चियनिटी, जैनिज्म, हर रिलीजन में तो गाइडलाइंस है ना. तो उसी पे इन्होंने बोला कि रिलीजियस स्क्रिप्चुरल गाइडलाइंस टू डील विथ डे टू डे लाइफ itself characterized by the notion or ideology of purity and pollution, right? Notion of purity and pollution. The notion of purity and pollution, next paragraph. The notion of purity and pollution, comma, separation among the caste groups is the core principle among the social groups, better say. Separation among the social groups is the core principle of caste system. Core principle of the caste system, which is universalized in every aspect of social life. Yes, which is universalized in every aspect of social life. Right. Criticizing MN Srinivas. Criticizing, इसी में कंटिन्यू कर लो. Criticizing MN Srinivas, Dumont argued that the ritual hierarchy based on the notions of purity and pollution, ritual hierarchy based on notions of purity and pollution dominate over ritual hierarchy based on notions of purity and pollution dominate over the secular hierarchy, dominate over the secular hierarchy. ये दो हायरार्की का बात किसने किया था? एमएन श्रीनिवास ने. रिवाइज करोगे याद हो जाएगा. आई हैड डिस्कस्ड, है ना, डोमिनेंट कास्ट में, राइट, कि डोमिनेंट कास्ट आर सुपीरियर इफ नॉट इन रिचुअल हायरार्की, सेकुलर हायरार्की, आई मीन इकोनॉमिक हायरार्की में, क्लास हायरार्की में. जैसे जाट्स आर सुपीरियर इन वेस्टर्न यूपी, इज इट इन सेकुलर हायरार्की. ब्राह्मण्स आर सुपीरियर इन रिचुअल हायरार्की. यस ना, यस ना. एंड जाटोव्स का कंपटीशन with both Brahmins and Jats, right? Ritual hierarchy as well as secular hierarchy में, isn't it? Right. So this is, ये कहते हैं कि नहीं, ऐसा नहीं. Secular hierarchy के ऊपर क्या है? Ritual hierarchy, isn't it? आप देखते हैं ना, प्राइम मिनिस्टर से लेके चीफ मिनिस्टर्स ऑल बोइंग डाउन बिफोर, राइट? यस और नो? और आज तो, आजकल तो राइट. So this is yes ना. सोनिया गांधी जी भी जब नॉमिनेशन फाइल करने जाती तो वहाँ पे पहले ब्लेसिंग्स इन पर्टिकुलर टेम्पल, हवन, पूजा, isn't it? And then filing of nominations, isn't it? मतलब वो रिपोर्ट में दिखाते हैं ना मीडिया में, राइट? यस और नो? राइट. सो that is ritual hierarchy superior than secular hierarchy, isn't it? Yes or no? राहुल बाबा भी जनेऊ दिखाते मोदी जी को, है ना? Yes or no? So this is ritual. ये कहता है क्या कि ritual hierarchy is superior. Ritual hierarchy superior, religion is superior, isn't it? Religious prophecies, propagations are superior than secular notions, isn't it? According to Louis Dumont, right? Yes. मतलब नहीं समझा मैं, है ना, है ना, है. भाई एविडेंस पे ही आप देखना चाहते हैं ना. अभी आगे पॉइंट क्या बोलता है ये कि एवरी एस्पेक्ट ऑफ लाइफ, किसका ड्रॉप आउट रेट ज्यादा है इंडियन सोसाइटी में? विच ग्रुप का ड्रॉप? ब्राह्मण्स, हायर कास्ट ग्रुप्स का ड्रॉप आउट. और एंड व्हेन यू विल स्टार्ट स्टडिंग व्हाई ड्रॉप आउट रेट इज हाई, तो फिर उसमें आएगा notions of inequality, discrimination, deprivation, isn't it? Getting your point? Traditionally the caste groups have been deprived, treated unequal, discriminated, isn't it? Humiliated, isn't it? And in some form or other, right, that continues in societies. अभी भी केसेस आता नहीं, separate midday meal for different caste groups. Yes na? Caste groups, rejecting, refuting, children belonging to particular caste groups refuting, rejecting to eat food cooked by particular caste, isn't it? So ऐसा आता. तो ये एविडेंस क्या सोशोलॉजिस्ट के लिए फॉर्डर है, isn't it? समझने का कि अच्छा पहले ये ज्यादा था अभी, but still continues, right? अभी आंध्र बेटे बोलते कि notion of purity and pollution earlier based on caste, now it is related to class. Now it is related to class. You will see long queue in the morning before housing societies. Housemaids, those who are daily serving the middle class, elites, every day they have to, give proof ki yes, a standing long queue, isn't it? So class based, and without ID, no entry. Class based segregation and separations, isn't it? Right? No one allowed to enter into the societies, isn't it? So separation, segregation, isn't it? तो है ना? तभी अपन डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, खैर इमोशनल नहीं होंगे इस पे. वी विल अंडरस्टैंड, राइट. ओके, तो ये पॉइंट समझ गया कि रिचुअल के ऊपर, सेकुलर के ऊपर क्या है? रिचुअल हायरार्की, इजंट इट? रिचुअल हायरार्कीज, यस यस. संस्कृति के संवाहक. अभी मैंने कुछ पढ़ा आर्टिकल, उसमें था पीएम साहब के ऊपर लिखा हुआ संस्कृति के संवाहक. एंड व्हाट इज दैट संस्कृति? I mean, religion, isn't it? Religious institutions, isn't it? Religious institutions, yes or no? So ritual, religious over secular, isn't it? 6,000 crores का spending, 600 crores का spending on renovations, right? अब उसमें डिस्कशन हो सकता है कि इसमें तो कई इंडस्ट्री लग जाता. इंडस्ट्री तो कल भी लग जाएगा, काइंड ऑफ बोलेंगे, राइट? लेकिन व्हाट आई मीन टू से कि दीज आर द एविडेंसेस, कि स्टिल रिलीजन एंड कल्चर रिलेटेड टू रिलीजन डोमिनेटिंग ओवर सेकुलर एस्फियर्स ऑफ कल्चर, इज इट? एविडेंस की बात करते हैं ना हम सोशियोलॉजी में, फैक्ट की बात करते हैं, तो दीज आर द फैक्ट्स. गेटिंग अ पॉइंट, राइट? अब उसमें उसका मार्क्सिस्ट डिबेट डिस्कशन में नहीं जाएंगे, है ना, कि सही है गलत है, उसमें नहीं जाएंगे. जस्ट एविडेंस, कि इंडियन सोसाइटी में लुई ड्यूमोंट अभी भी रेलेवेंट है, राइट? यस. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, अकॉर्डिंग टू ड्यूमोंट, इंडियन सोसाइटी in Indian society, caste is not a form of stratification, rather a special, rather a form of a special inequality, a form of a special kind of inequality, right? A special kind of inequality which is hierarchically organized, which is hierarchically organized, which is hierarchically organized, right? Unity and integration in Indian society is based on, unity and integration in Indian society is based on such hierarchical inequality, is based on such hierarchical, is based on institutionalization of, better say, is based on institutionalization of hierarchical inequality, is based on institutionalization of hierarchical inequality, is based on institutionalization of hierarchical inequality, right? In this respect, इसी के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बोलता है वो. In this respect, अंडरलाइन कर लेना above sentence, दो sentences को अंडरलाइन कर लो. In this respect, change in Indian society is visible in form of इन्वर्टेड कॉमा में लिखना, विजुअल इन फॉर्म ऑफ डैश चेंज इन सोसाइटी not of the society, change in the society not of the society, right? Change in the society not of the society, right? इस रिस्पेक्ट में क्या बोलता है, ये बोलता है कि भाई ये स्ट्रेटिफिकेशन नहीं है कि चेंज हो जाएगा, दिस इज नॉट ए स्ट्रेटिफिकेशन, राइट, कि सोसाइटी चेंज हो जाएगा एज इट हैपेंड इन यूरोप. This is a kind of a this is a form of a special kind of inequality जो कि केवल इंडिया में ही पाया जाता है, राइट? A special kind of inequality, है ना? And this inequality is institutionalized. ये क्या है? Well established, institutionalized, widely accepted, right? People are socialized by births in such inequalities. लोग बचपन से socialize होते हैं to accept such inequality, isn't it? इस फ्रेम को accept करते ना, बचपन से socialize होते ना, yes ना, right? So in this respect क्या हुआ कि in Indian society he argued कि change को अगर समझना है तो understand change in the society, not change of the society. क्योंकि Indian society ए स्पेशल फॉर्म ऑफ इनइक्वालिटी है, हायरार्किकल रिजिडिटी है, ये चेंज नहीं होगा. हाँ, विद इन सोसाइटी नो चेंजेज इन इकोनॉमिक ऑर्डर, पॉलिटिकल ऑर्डर चेंज हुआ, इकोनॉमिक ऑर्डर में, पॉलिटिकल ऑर्डर में, बट नो चेंज इन ऑर्डर ऑफ कास्ट, नो चेंज इन ऑर्डर ऑफ कास्ट. और जब इंडियन सोसाइटी का बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक ही कास्ट है और चेंज हुआ नहीं, तो क्या हम कह सकते हैं चेंज ऑफ इंडियन सोसाइटी? नो, चेंज इन इंडियन सोसाइटी. उसका कहना है कि चेंज को एनालाइज करना है सोशियोलॉजिस्ट को, तो दे शुड एनालाइज चेंज इन सोसाइटी, नॉट चेंज ऑफ सोसाइटी. या विद इन द फ्रेमवर्क ऑफ कास्ट, इजंट इट? यूरोपियन सोसाइटी फ्यूडल सोसाइटी टू कैपिटलिस्ट सोसाइटी हो गया, यस और नो? फ्यूडल सोसाइटी टू कैपिटलिस्ट सोसाइटी हो गया, राइट? स्लेव सोसाइटी टू फ्यूडल सोसाइटी, तो वो चेंज ऑफ सोसाइटी है, दैट इज चेंज ऑफ सोसाइटी. बट इन इंडियन सोसाइटी ऑल बिग लैंडलॉर्ड्स, जमींदार्स टर्न्ड इनटू इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट, बिजनेस पर्सन्स आफ्टर एबोलिशन ऑफ जमींदारी. रेडीज, चौधरीज, businessmen, business person, traditional landlords, they turned into Apollo. Reddy's, Dr. Reddy's, Apollo chain business persons, right? Bhumihar Brahmins in Bihar, King Mahendra, right? Alchem, right? Alchem owner, right? Many Aristo. Yeah, Alchem owner is other landlord, yeah, other Bhumihar Brahmin landlord. So Bhumihar Brahmins lords, turned into industrialists. Dalit capitalism, isn't it? Shiv Nader, Dalit capitalist, yes na? So idhar kya? Change within society, change in society, not change of society, right? Not change of society. You will see SIS, SIS is the, I guess कि वर्ल्ड का लार्जेस्ट सिक्योरिटी, प्राइवेट सिक्योरिटी एजेंसी अभी हो गया SIS, है ना? राइट? द फाउंडर RK सिन्हा, राइट? द फाउंडर मेंबर ऑफ BJP ऑल्सो, है ना? बट ही आफ्टर 1990s, उन्होंने अपना फॉर्चून स्ट्राइक किया बिजनेस में, एंड टुडे ही इज अ बिग बिजनेस टाइकून. अभी गवर्नमेंट ने पॉलिसी चेंज कर दिया कि CISF के साथ प्राइवेट सिक्योरिटी एजेंसीज भी रहेंगी. And over the period of time, CISF will replaced by private security agencies at airports. Such is the influence of such tycoons, कि government policy को change करा देते जो कि इतना sensitive है, right? Private airports, I mean, operated by private person, and security also, जो पहले थोड़ा रहता था कि चलो CISF वाले private security, private security forces. So SIS, and you will find this gentleman always participating in Chandragupta Puja, Chandragupta Samaj, है ना? कायस्था समाज, मतलब जाति कभी नहीं जाती. Every third, fourth tweet and Facebook update you will find related to caste. Yes ना? Follow करते हैं आप? This is just example, and this is the case with all. ऐसा नहीं है, right? है ना? जाति के अंदर भी सब जाति आ जाती. यादव तो कृष्णौत यादव, मजरौट यादव, isn't it? मतलब जाति में भी जाति, right? Right? Sub caste, that is called upjati, sub caste, isn't it? So this is change in caste, not change in society, not of society. Yes. No, no, not individual. The individual के example just I'm giving, कि हाँ हाँ, yes, but caste, the frame of caste over the period of time have become more stronger. Dalit capitalism, Dalit Chamber of Commerce, Agrawal Chamber of Commerce, right? There are many caste-based Chamber of Commerce in Tamil Nadu, in Kerala, isn't it? Right? In Andhra Pradesh, right? Caste-based organization promoting, education of their caste men, right? Ambedkar Wadi Mission, Sarthi Missions, isn't it? Many such organizations, right? So this is, India में क्या है कि change तो हो रहा है, but not of caste. Caste का change नहीं हो रहा, right? Getting your point. क्योंकि caste क्या है? Special form of inequality है. ये strata होता तो change हो जाता. Stratification नहीं है. This is a special kind of inequality, right? एक next sentence लिखो. So got this point ना? Yes. जैसे पॉलिटिकल चेंज हुआ, मतलब ये एग्जांपल्स इसलिए मैं दे रहा हूं, इंडिविजुअल एग्जांपल है लेकिन जस्ट टू मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड. पॉलिटिकल चेंज हुआ, बट विल सी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज एज पर कास्ट रियलिटीज, दे ऑर्गेनाइज एंड रीऑर्गेनाइज देयर पार्टी यूनिट्स इन डिफरेंट स्टेट्स. यस और नो? यस ना? राइट. ऐसा नहीं है कि मेरिट इज गिवन प्रायोरिटी ओवर कास्ट. नहीं, merit is not given priority over caste in political parties, है ना? Merit is not given priority over family in political parties. Yes ना? Yes, yes, right. Yes है या नहीं है? Yeah, you can see, politics में थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्ट लेना चाहिए आपको. सोशियोलॉजी पढ़ते हैं तो डिफरेंट एरियाज में आप देखोगे कास्ट कंसिडरेशन, इज इट सुपीरियर टू मेरिटोक्रेसी इन पॉलिटिक्स, राइट? तो पॉलिटिक्स क्या है? चेंज है. डेमोक्रेटिक पॉलिटिक्स, वी आर इन डेमोक्रेटिक पॉलिटिक्स, ऑटोक्रेटिक टू डेमोक्रेटिक, बट देयर आल्सो कास्ट कंसिडरेशंस, एथनिक कंसिडरेशंस आर देयर. यस, दिस इज. तो यही कहता है कि चेंज तो हुआ, बट नॉट ऑफ सोसाइटी, रादर चेंज इन सोसाइटी. यस, नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. अकॉर्डिंग टू ड्यूमोंट, इसी में कंटिन्यू करना है आपने, चेंज के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में ही. चेंज के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में, अकॉर्डिंग टू ड्यूमोंट, the traditional caste hierarchies characterized by superordination and subordinations, characterized by superordination and subordination, comma, interdependence, has now been replaced superordination and subordination, comma, interdependence have now been replaced by competitive hierarchy. Now been replaced by competitive hierarchy or competitive interest groups. Competitive interest groups. Full stop. Competitive interest groups. Full stop. Different caste groups are now competing with each other different caste groups are now competing with each other for resources in political sphere, social sphere, economic spheres, competing with each other for resources in political sphere, social sphere, economic spheres, cultural spheres, etc. Right? है ना? More employment, more education, है ना? More contracts, more participation in politics, right? Key position in politics, yes or no? तो अभी क्या हो गया है कि कास्ट ग्रुप्स जो पहले इंटरडिपेंडेंट एंड सुपरऑर्डिनेशन सबऑर्डिनेशन था कास्ट ग्रुप्स में, अभी क्या हो गया? कॉम्पीटिंग विद ईच अदर्स. जाटव्स आर कॉम्पीटिंग विद जाट्स, isn't it? Vokaligas are competing with Lingayats. Raos are competing with Rajus or Naidus, isn't it? So this is, I mean, different caste groups are competing with each other. Yadavs competing with Bhumihar Brahmins, isn't it? Different caste groups, competing with each other. पहले जो subordination था, those caste groups are now competitive interest groups, isn't it? एक और पॉइंट बोलते क्या कि इन मॉडर्न इंडियन सोसाइटी चेंज के रिस्पेक्ट में ही बोलते ये सब, है ना? इन मॉडर्न इंडियन सोसाइटी caste has been substantiated in form of unions or associations. Unions or association dash caste associations, right? And are important, component of civil society organization. Important component of civil society organization at times acting as pressure group. Civil society organization at times acting as a pressure group. है ना? Yes or no? For example, जाट महासभा, ब्राह्मण महासभा, दलित महासभा, अग्रवाल महासभा, isn't it? है ना? अब तो इंटरनेशनली ऑर्गेनाइज्ड, these caste groups are internationally organized. अभी जाट महासभा का लंदन के अंदर मीटिंग था, है ना? Yes, internationally organized, right? Right. So this is ठीक है. 18 कितना 18 मिलियन हमारा, ऑलमोस्ट 18 मिलियन पीपल, NRIs, PIOs, जो भी ये सब मिलाकर, तो ठीक है, कास्ट को तो ले ही गए. 18 मिलियन से कास्ट भी तो स्प्रेड हो रहा है ना? यस ना? यस. ओके, ठीक है, गॉट दिस पॉइंट. बस हो गया, बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं, इतना याद रखो काफ़ी है. राइट. हाँ. हाँ. आज के सोसाइटी के बारे में, मतलब जब अपन बात करते हैं ना, तो ट्रेडिशन टू मॉडर्न, आज तक के, ठीक है ना? ये जो लास्ट पैराग्राफ ने लिखा है, ये आज की बात कर रहे हैं. लेकिन आज भी क्या जाति है या नहीं? कॉम्पिटिटिव ग्रुप्स में भी डेवलप हुआ तो ये जाति का ही फोर्स है ना? जो पहले जाति था वही फोर्स है ना? एंड कास्ट हैज एडॉप्टेड टू डेमोक्रेसी, कास्ट हैज एडॉप्टेड टू टेक्नोलॉजी, ये बताना चाह रहा है. कास्ट चेंज नहीं हुआ है ना? अर्लियर, प्लीज लिसन, प्लीज. जैसे इनका कंफ्यूजन था कि ये तो कॉन्ट्रास्ट हो गया, पहले तो उसने ट्रेडिशन के तौर पे बात किया, आज मॉडर्न. अरे पहले उसने बात किया कि कास्ट ऑपरेटेड विद इन द फोल्ड ऑफ रिलीजन. इन मॉडर्न सोसाइटी कास्ट इज ऑपरेटिंग विद इन द फोल्ड ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी इन फॉर्म ऑफ एसोसिएशन. Today, caste is operating within the fold of modern technology, right? brahmanshadi.com, agrawalshadi.com, yes ना? ये कास्ट ही तो ऑपरेट कर रहा है ना. इंटरनेट को भी कास्टाइज कर दिया, कास्ट ने अडॉप्ट कर लिया इंटरनेट, इजंट इट? यस और नो? राइट. तो पहले रिलीजन के फ्रेम में काम करता था, लेजिटिमाइज होता था. आज डेमोक्रेसी लेजिटिमाइज कर रहा है. आज टुडे डेमोक्रेसी इज लेजिटिमाइजिंग. A person who is able to organize his caste men, he is being rewarded by national political parties too. Yes or no? Dr. Sanjay Nishad, in last 6 years, he organized his caste men, Nishad party, and today he is minister, his son is minister, rewarded by national political parties. National political parties cannot go to that level, otherwise their national fortunes will be affected. So what national political parties are doing? They are aligning with the caste-based parties in different regions. राइट. सो दिस इज कि डेमोक्रेसी के फ्रेम में कास्ट पहले रिलीजन से लेजिटिमाइज होता था, आज डेमोक्रेसी रिवार्ड कर रहा है कास्ट को. राइट है ना? यस यस. सो दिस इज गॉट दिस पॉइंट. सो कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन नहीं है एंड रेलेवेंस है. राइट. दैट्स व्हाई वी आर स्टडिंग, इसीलिए स्टडी कर रहे हैं. ठीक है ना? तो समझ गए तो ठीक, नहीं तो मगअप कर लोगे. राइट. एग्जाम के लिए तो मगअप करना ही पड़ेगा. अब तो चॉइस है भी नहीं, है ना? इतना टाइम इन्वेस्ट करने के बाद चॉइस नहीं है. सो यस. नाउ क्रिटिसिज्म. लास्टली सम पॉइंट्स. क्रिटिसिज्म. yes. First point of criticism. Andre Bete criticized Dumont. Andre Bete criticized Dumont for narrow empirical or narrow empiricism. For narrow empiricism. Right. Dumont propagated a view. इसी में कंटिन्यू करोगे. मतलब बेते के अकॉर्डिंग Dumont propagated a view of what caste was or ought to be. What caste was or ought to be rather than what caste is today. Rather than what caste is today. Right. According to Bete, a particular caste, according to Bete, a particular caste is segregated into many subcastes. Particular caste is segregated into many subcastes as well as there is dispersed inequality. There is dispersed inequality within the caste based on class. There is dispersed inequality within the caste based on class. Yes ना? अभी आप देखोगे आगे बेते का ही स्टडी करेंगे. So Bete in his study of Sri Puram village found that कि Brahman caste were segregated into Samartha Brahmins and Sri Vaishnava Brahmins. Sri Vaishnava superior and Samarthas inferior. Further, Samartha Brahmins were segregated into higher class Samarthas, middle class Samarthas and lower class Samarthas. And these two subcaste of Brahmins were socially, culturally, residentially distinct and different. है ना? उनके स्टडी में है ऐसा. उन्होंने देखा ग्राउंड पे. And this is the reality in other parts of India also. Yes or no? Don't you think those who belong to UP must have observed separation, segregation of the Brahmins? Yes or no? मतलब ब्राह्मण्स में भी segregation है ना सब कास्ट का. सरयू पारी ब्राह्मण्स, हाँ, और यूपी में हाँ, जिजौतिया ब्राह्मण, many sub caste groups, huh? Mathli Brahmin, isn't it? Huh? God Brahmins, yeah, many Brahmins, Kumaoni Brahman, Gadwali Brahman, separation, segregation, isn't it? Sub caste में separation है, segregation है. Within caste there is एक और point है, और आंध्र बेते उसी point पे रिजर्वेशन पॉलिसी का भी प्रोटेस्ट करते कि कास्ट के अंदर डिस्पर्स्ड इनइक्वालिटी है. सभी कास्ट ग्रुप्स में, सभी कास्ट ग्रुप्स में डिस्पर्स्ड इनइक्वालिटी है. राइट, पॉलिसी मेकर्स ने केवल क्यूमुलेटिव इनइक्वालिटी को कंसीडर किया ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ कास्ट, कि ये कास्ट सुपीरियर है दूसरे कास्ट से इन रिस्पेक्ट टू, क्यूमुलेटिव है, एक कास्ट से दूसरा कास्ट सुपीरियर, एंड फेल्ड टू सी डिस्पर्स इनइक्वालिटी विद इन द कास्ट. विद इन कास्ट डिस्पर्स इनइक्वालिटी है किसका? क्लास का. दैट इज वेल रिफ्लेक्टेड इन मैरिज. यस और नो? विद इन कास्ट भी मैरिज जब होता तो प्रेफरेंस किसको देते? क्लास को, हायर क्लास को. विद इन कास्ट भी हायर क्लास. तो दैट इज इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज्ड फैक्ट. आंध्र बेते वही बोलते, इजंट इट? राइट, जाति से शादी नहीं होती केवल, विद इन कास्ट है नो क्लास. राइट, है ना? यस यस, राइट. गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स, गवर्नमेंट सर्विसेज, इजंट इट? यस. So this is what highlighted by आंद्रे बेते. और इसी पॉइंट पे उन्होंने क्रिटिसाइज किया ड्यूमोंट को, कि ड्यूमोंट का पर्सपेक्टिव इज आइडियोलॉजिकल पर्सपेक्टिव. बस आइडियोलॉजी ऑफ प्योरिटी, नोशन ऑफ प्योरिटी एंड पॉल्यूशन, उस आइडियोलॉजी के बेसिस पे उन्होंने सेपरेट कर दिया. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, अकॉर्डिंग टू बेते, according to Bete, not only in present time, but in societies of the past too. In society of the past too. Not only in present time, but in society of the past too. Many non-Brahmin rulers had superior position. Many non-Brahmin rulers and their caste, non-Brahmin rulers and their caste men had superior position in Indian society. Yes. Yes. Not only, एक और पॉइंट लिख लो आंध्र बेते का, नॉट ओनली, इसी में कंटिन्यू कर लो, नॉट ओनली ascribed status of caste, not only the ascribed status of caste is the basis of, not only the ascribed status of caste is the basis of understanding inequality and stratification, understanding inequality and stratification in Indian society. Rather, class and power too are important variables to understand inequality and stratification. Right. To understand inequality and stratification, in Indian society. उन्होंने अपने स्टडी में पाया क्या, in Sripuram, he found कि Dravidians were superior in hierarchy because of their power, the power which they attained after independence, isn't it? Dravidian caste today is powerful, isn't it? I mean superior because of their holding of power. Yes or no? Many intermediary castes are superior, right? Yadavs and many other castes because of holding of power. Yes or no? Because of numerical strength, holding of power, isn't it? Right. And not only power, class, economic achievements. Economic achievements. Economy is also the basis of superiority. Economy is also the basis of superiority, right, in Indian society, right? Adi Dravidian caste groups have attained higher economic, superior economic position, and thus they have attained superiority, right, in a particular locality. तो इनका कहना है कि केवल कास्ट के बेसिस पे हम इंडियन सोसाइटी में इनइक्वालिटी एंड स्ट्रेटिफिकेशन को नहीं समझ सकते. अदर वेरिएबल्स आर आल्सो देयर, राइट? नेक्स्ट, अकॉर्डिंग टू क्रिटिक, GS, according to critic, notion of Brahminic superiority is futile. Notion of Brahminic superiority is futile. GS Gorie, on the basis of mythological evidences, GS Gorie on the basis of, better say historical evidences, criticized the notion of Brahminic superiority, highlighted by Louis Dumont. Right. According to Dipankar Gupta, next point. According to Dipankar Gupta, Louis Dumont perspective on caste is more philosophical and ideologically biased. Louis Dumont perspective on caste is more philosophical and ideologically biased. It is critically faulty. And cannot be applied. It is critically faulty and cannot be applied to understand caste system at pan-India level. Cannot be applied to understand caste system at pan-India level. Cannot be applied to understand caste system at pan-India level. Full stop. In his observation, मतलब उन्हीं का observation है, DG ने study किया, है ना, caste in Western UP, है ना? In his observation of caste, in his study of caste in Western UP, he found that non-Brahmin caste groups dash Jats considered Brahmin as caste groups like Jats considered Brahmins as lazy and greedy social groups. Different from Dumont understanding of Brahmins as superior and sacred. Right. According to Mackim Marriott, Dumont presented a speculative sketch. Of caste system in India. right? Yeah, a speculative sketch of caste system in India. The empirical reality of caste is different from Dumont perspective. Reality of caste system is different from empirical reality of caste system is different from Dumont apostrophe S perspective. Dumont's perspective, right? In reality, full stop. In reality, there has been cultural, social cultural exchanges between caste groups belonging to higher hierarchies and caste groups belonging to higher hierarchies and caste groups belonging to lower hierarchies. Caste groups belonging to higher hierarchies, caste groups belonging to lower hierarchies through the process of parochialization and universalization. Through the process of parochialization and universalization. Through the process of parochialization and universalization. Right? क्या हुआ है? कल्चरल एक्सचेंजेज, सोशल कल्चरल एक्सचेंजेज. पैरोकियलाइज होना मतलब हायर कास्ट का adopted by caste groups in lower hierarchy, and lower universalized होना मतलब lower caste culture universalized into higher caste. So this is right. Lastly, Yogendra Singh. Lastly, Yogendra Singh also criticized Louis Dumont for ignoring the impact of modernity, and structural changes during British period, ignoring impact of modernity and structural change during the British period as well as after independence. During the British period as well as after independence. Notion of purity and pollution has largely declined with secularization of Indian society. Notion of purity and pollution has largely declined with secularization of Indian society, with adoption of constitution and laws, modern laws, with adoption of constitution and modern laws. Secularization and adoption of constitution and modern laws. Louis Dumont did not talk about social mobility in the caste system. Social mobility in the caste system. He presented a picture of a static India society. He presented a picture of Indian society as a static society. Presented a picture of Indian society as a static society and highlighted or championed, better say championed, static India hypothesis. Championed static India hypothesis. Static India hypothesis. Championed static India hypothesis मतलब कि इंडियन सोसाइटी क्या है? स्टैटिक सोसाइटी है, क्लोज सोसाइटी है ना, अनचेंजिंग सोसाइटी है, राइट? सो डन, राइट? टुमारो वी विल डिस्कस आंध्रे बेते, राइट? हाँ, टुमारो, नो टुमारो करेंगे, कोर्स भी खत्म होगा, कोर्स तो एग्जाम तक खत्म नहीं होगा नहीं, कोर्स तो एग्जाम तक ओके, गुड लक, प्लीज मेक नोट, शॉर्ट नोट ऑन दिस, हाँ, या, please make a short note on this, right?